the first speaker. Her name is Cathy Huyghe. She's the co-founder and chief executive officer at Enolytic, and which is a technology-centric disruptor and provider of business analytics solutions for the wine industry. And your talk will be about how wine acquires a taste for AI. Thanks a lot.
Thank you. Thank you.
You have one.
I could not be happier to be talking in this room to you today about wine AI. So I'm a Harvard alum. I founded a group called Harvard Alumni in Wine and Food back in 2009. The current president is Brett Bankowski, who's in the back here. And wine at Harvard is sort of like it sounds kind of strange, but you'll be happy to know that there are a lot of us out there, friendly faces in the room. And this talk about AI comes from my experience both as a journalist. I'm a writer by trade. I write for Forbes about the business and the politics of the wine industry. But I also co-founded a company called Enolytic, and we build software for the wine and spirits world. We build software that analyzes sales data from every channel that wine is able to be sold within the US as well as Australia and Canada. So wine AI, I'm going to divide my 15 minutes into two different sections. One is to express what my experience has been about AI in wine, but then also to leave a few minutes for your questions. I was at the session yesterday, which was all about even more economics, more data science, and it just is an incredibly dynamic moment right now that conversation is coming into the wine world. So AI in wine, it's a big topic. It can be essentially divided into five different ways that AI can be applied throughout the production of wine. AI for viticulture, for example. AI for the production of wine within the winery. AI for sales, AI for marketing, and AI from the point of the end consumer. So right now, and for Enolytic, the purpose of our work and our hands-on sort of boots-on-the-ground experience, we're going to focus on sales and marketing. So that will be sort of the first part, and then I'm curious for your questions. That'll be the second part. So when, as we're building software, as we're building technology for the wine world, we ask the question, what does the wine world want out of AI? What does the wine world want out of AI? So we did what we do, which is, talk to customers, host a webinar. And my friend and colleague, Ashley Trout, who runs Brook and Bowl Winery in Washington State, she said, here's what I want AI to do. I want to open Enolytic, that's our software, and I want it to tell me the three most important things that I need to do today for my business. That's it. Can AI do that for me? Can AI do that for me? And the answer is yes. The answer is yes, of course. And so all I want to do is open AI and tell me what I have to do, right? She doesn't even want to log into the software. She just wants to be told, essentially, do these three things. So how do we know that? How do we know that? This is where AI comes in. We know that because we have first-party data of her winery. So selling wine direct to consumer is one of the channels for wine that wineries can sell wine throughout the U.S. So, which means that we have a lot of first-party data. We have first-party data about the customers, about their demographics, about how much they've bought, where they live, what is the area of affluence in the neighborhood where they live. So we have that first-party data. And we also have data from the wholesale distributor channel. So we get that in order to say where that wine is sold in restaurants and retailers around the country. And then we combine it together. So we give a full 360-degree view of every sales channel where that person's winery is sold. So that's the first-party data. The third-party data comes from any number of sources. It comes from critics' reviews. It comes from weather reports. It comes from tourism data, that sort of thing. And so we take those third-party data sources and make it directly relevant to the first-party data sources for that winery. And then that's how we know what are the 3 most important things that that person can do today for their business. Does that make sense? So what that means is that based on weather patterns or weather predictions or tourism reports or your sales from the previous year, then the winery can be very efficient about how they staff their tasting room, for example, or the customers that will be coming to their door, if you're looking at the reservation system, or the board of directors meeting minutes from the last meeting and what their priorities are and what they need to focus on for that day or that week or that month. Okay, so that is what the wine industry, we've been told, wants AI to do. Tell me the 3 most important things that I need to do today. And so that's what we've built. And so that's what we're delivering to wineries. So getting back to the application of the sales and marketing of AI, what does that look like? How do they use it? This is actually one of the challenges, one of the 3 big challenges that I want to talk about when it comes to AI. One is getting the wine industry to believe that they're data people. People don't get into wine in order to do data, is what we've been told for so long. And so a lot of what I do is convincing wine people that they are, in fact, data people. And there's sort of I feel like I need to be very persuasive. I need to be sort of a cheerleader, really, for wine people to embrace data. And this is what is also has to do with what drove the user interface of our software. So this is one of the big challenges, I think, that the wine industry faces when it comes to AI, believing that they can do it. So in our software, I take a very narrative approach. And what this means is literally who, what, where, when, why, and how much. That's how you tell a story, right? So the user interface is such that there's a lineup of questions, and you click on the link that says, who are my customers? Click on that link, and you're presented with a visualization of who your customers are by demographics, by gender, by zip code and area of affluence. You click on the link that says, what did we sell? And you're presented with a visualization of what was sold together, the basket analysis. You click on the link, and this is the most clicked on link of the entire software, is who is at risk of leaving? Who's at risk of leaving my wine club? So retention analysis, risk analysis. Wine clubs are the most profit-heavy, the biggest profit margin in wine is the wine club. So of course you want to be alert to who's at risk of leaving. So who, what, where, when, why, and how much? That's one of the ways that we combat the challenge of convincing wine people that they're actually data people by making it really easy to interact with the software. So that's one of the challenges that we're facing when it comes to wine AI. A second challenge that the industry is facing that I don't think anybody's talking about is the energy demand of AI, and how, especially the big companies who do a lot about sustainability, who are very environmentally active, the energy demand of AI is huge. And so how will the wine industry respond to that as we use AI more and more? Pug the other day mentioned we need to bend the curve on that a little bit. So that's sort of the second big challenge. First big challenge is convincing wine people that they're data people. Second big challenge is the demand, the energy demand of AI. And I think the third big challenge that not a lot of people are talking about has to do with security. And in a way, AI in the wine industry right now is like the Wild West. It's a little bit, I wouldn't say unregulated, but people are putting a lot of information, their own first-party data, into different AI formulations. and we're not thinking enough about it. So a lot of what Enolytics does is around educating how to be careful, more careful about that. So yeah, so AI applied to wine in all those different ways: viticulture, production, sales, marketing, and consumer. Sales and marketing part is I think, incredibly dynamic, and where probably the bread and butter is. And then the challenges that we're facing in terms of the energy demand, as well as the security component that unfortunately hasn't really been engaged very much. So I'm going to stop there for a second, hopefully get us a little bit back on track, but see if there's any questions about how you all see the question of AI for wine. What's on your mind? I asked this question yesterday, and one of the answers was, can AI tell me which wine I'm most likely to like? Sure, it can do that.
When you're trying to convince wine people that they're data people, is there a way to quantify what they're losing? Because wine industry, there's a lot of old school, many generations have spoken of earlier, a lot of gut instinct. I know what I know. Are you able to quantify for people, either in lack of growth or loss, what not using data does to them?
Yeah, great question. We are able to quantify wineries who use data and use analytics and their growth relative to those who are not, or who we know are not. And that's a difference between overall, and this was mentioned earlier, sort of the sales trends in wine right now are down on average about -2%. So purchases, consumers are drinking less, down 2% overall. But wineries who use data, who use analytics, they're up 5%, 6%, in some cases 17%. So there's, it's difficult to gauge when a winery isn't using data, but it's easier to measure when they are and what that difference is. Yeah, for sure. That was a great question.
Thanks a lot, Cathy.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot.